Hello and welcome back to Even More News, the first and only news podcast. My name is Katie Stoll.
It so is. Hi, Katie. I'm Cody Johnson is the name of me. Hello.
Is the name of you. And oh boy, everybody, we've got a really fun, cool, special first-time guest this week. Okay, she is a video creator for Mother Jones, a contributor to Zateo News, and her latest YouTube video is called The Dangerous Reality of White Christian Nationalism. If you haven't guessed yet, we have Kat Abughazaleh on the podcast today.
Yay!
There it
Thank
is,
you for
yeah.
having. There's fireworks
There it
now.
is.
This is amazing.
That's going to play. That's going to play. They're going to see the fireworks.
Will
on
it?
the
Amazing.
video
I want
call.
them to see the fireworks.
I know.
They will.
If
They
you
have.
aren't,
They
if you're
loved it.
listening to this audio only, you shouldn't.
Yeah, get on YouTube. Check it out.
Don't worry, everybody that's at home wondering why we haven't said it. Jonathan is also here.
He is. Hello, Jonathan.
Hi, Jonathan.
Thank
Hi.
you. Thank you
Oh,
for also
hi.
being here.
Wow, the guest never says hi to me. Hi.
I'll say hi to
so
you
rude.
anytime.
He's so highable.
It's
so
people love saying hi to me
Also,
at Trader
your child is
Joe's
saying hi now. And it's cute.
constantly.
I'm going to just breeze on to Saturday, October 26th, because this one's better. It's National Make a Difference Day. The news is bad, and we're going to be talking about a lot of bad things this week, every week.
All
it
the time,
seems.
every week, yeah.
Selfish, bad people are out there. So this is a nice one. And actually, in my morning wake-up scroll,
Don't do that. First of all, don't do
I know,
that.
but I encountered just a thread of celebrities being normal, but it just kind of devolved into talking about Keanu Reeves. And I think that Keanu Reeves maybe epitomizes that. Just moving through every story I've ever heard of him is genuine and sincere and frequently brings a tear to my eye. One day he walks in and here's on a film shoot, here's the makeup artist discussing how they are going to lose their house. They need $20,000 or something. And he just gave it to them and buying the crew, the stuntmen, motorcycles, stopping and actually engaging with children, with fans. I think he seems like a real beautiful person who
He's
makes
the
a
one.
difference.
Yeah.
So if you see Keanu Reeves in public, don't go up to him and say, I'm a big fan. Loudly complain about how broke you are
Big
and how
financial
you're
problems.
I do
desperate.
that to everyone, and it hasn't worked yet.
But you haven't met Keanu.
Are you saying
But I
specific
haven't met Keanu
numbers?
Reeves.
You need to say
So-
specific numbers. so
yeah,
that he
I
knows.
am. I'm saying $69 because it's funny, and
And still no takers.
still nothing.
Come on, Keanu. Get it together.
Let's get it together, Keanu. We love you, but it's contingent on you giving her some money. So you have a new video out. We've already mentioned this on white Christian nationalism. I mean, maybe most people know this by now. If you haven't checked it out, you definitely should. It's pretty terrifying when you see it laid out. And is the entire movement even scarier than we already believe? Is there more to it that you think that could be conveyed?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, that whole video, which I did with the People for the American Way Foundation, is supposed to be like a primer on white Christian nationalism. But like, I didn't even get to touch on immigration. I didn't even get to touch on like so much stuff that could be included in there. I could do an entire separate hour-long video about racism and barely scratch the surface. The movement is fucking terrifying. And I hate to be a downer, but like, we should be scared of it.
You know, you've talked a lot about Gaza and the suffering that's going on. And of course, listeners of this show will know that we are very critical of what's happening, very frustrated with Kamala Harris specifically not engaging with an entire portion of her voter base that are upset about what's happening. And it very well could make the difference on Election Day. Do you think it is too late for her to say literally anything, do literally anything to appeal to us? Because I'm not sure that it's even possible at this point, but
I mean, there are so many, like I'm half Palestinian, like I'm half Arab American.
Okay.
And it's just, I made a video about this a couple weeks ago after trying every official avenue, and it was titled How Kamala Harris Could Win, Talk to One Arab Person for 15 minutes.
Right.
And like, I do know a lot of people that are like, I just can't in good conscience vote for someone that seems to want to exterminate us like bugs. But if she just said like like a wink or a nod, like fucking something, I think that there is time. I don't think she'll do it. And, you know, there's a part of me, and this is like almost certainly copium, that's like, hopefully it's like a Jimmy Carter thing, like go hard on this and then get in power and, you know, at least lighten this horror somewhat. But that feels less and less likely by the day. But I mean, there's certainly time to do something for certain voters that are like, maybe I won't go. But she seems like every Democrat dead set on losing her election.
Yeah, she does.
It's crazy because she literally had the best possible chance to win this in a landslide, to just be given this in like August. Like our primary elections are so long. Everyone is tainted by that point. And to just be like thrust in here with a progressive base ready to rally around. But I'm just saying stuff all of us already know, and it's depressing.
There was a Washington Post article today with the headline, Michigan Arabs and Muslims deeply split over supporting Harris. And it has some anonymous quotes from Harris aides that are like very much trying hard to signal she can't split from Biden on this publicly. She's the vice president, but like wink, wink, things will be different. We can't specify how or what. And it's like,
we can't let you speak at the DNC based on your ethnicity. Not based on your position, but based on your ethnicity.
She could split with Biden on that. Like
she totally could.
This weird like faux conventional wisdom of like, well, you can't say anything that the president said. Like Biden's very unpopular. There's one of the reasons he's not like at the top of the ticket now. He's very unpopular. Many of his positions are unpopular. It would be very easy for her to split with him on certain things, even just a smidgen, just slightly indicating. And I just don't get why it's so terrifying for her to just say like, yeah, I disagree with him on some things, because also it's unbelievable that she agrees with him on everything. That's not true of anybody. Of course you disagree with him on something. Surely there's something, but she's not great at this. So.
These are all things that like we fucking know. But I mean, I think the real truth is of course Arabs are monsters and you shouldn't trust any of them, and you also shouldn't have them on a podcast. So you guys are anti-American. And
sorry,
Homeland
folks.
Security is coming for you.
Well, they're already coming for me. I agree. None of this is stuff we don't know or haven't been talking about or banging our head against the wall. It's like watching a slow motion train wreck. It feels like to me sometimes, because like I've said, like I get that there is some sort of a strategy here. It just doesn't seem to be working, and it hasn't been working.
It's not 2016 anymore.
People like Donald Trump for a multitude of reasons, but for a lot of people, it is because he seems outside the system, even though he's not. He represents everything that we're fighting against. They want something different. And there's no boldness here from the actual parties. There's no policy that there are some, people get mad at me if I don't acknowledge that there are some things, but we don't really have a tangible idea of how you're going to fix these problems. It's just not bold enough. It's not like plenty bold, Buttigieg.
Yeah.
It is milquetoast. It is safe. And it's like handing it over because she just represents establishment.
Yeah, instead of narrowly squeaking by, what if you just try something else? Like, what if you try something else that you yelled at progressives for an entire month saying they were anti-American for saying Biden shouldn't run, and we were pretty much the people behind that. And instead of being like, wow, you guys were right, maybe we should hear like a couple other ideas. What if you just took credit for that and then didn't change anything?
Yeah, it's very, very frustrating. It's every step of the way just this sort of like, yeah, you're wrong, you're racist, you're anti-American. Oh, actually, 2 months later, you were right, but we're not going to acknowledge that. Speaking of Pete Buttigieg, there's this tweet that he did yesterday that I'm just going to read about. Well, we'll get to this because we're going to talk about Trump's Hitlerian fondness. It's one thing for some leftist group to call you a fascist, quite another when it's a fellow Republican, and absolutely astonishing when it's your own chief of staff. Really strong on the last half of that tweet, but I don't know if you need to be like, if some leftist group says that you're a fascist, like it's so weird and dismissive. He could have said Democrat too, because the point is that if a Democrat calls you a fascist, then that's because like there's this conflict there. They're the opposition party, but when it's your own party, then it's a problem. That's what he's saying. Yeah. But he chose to be like some leftist groups. But also, if you're going to be like, well, some leftist group calls you a fascist, then that's one thing. But when a Republican does, that's another. But also what you're saying is that some leftist group was correct. they were right then, Pete. So why are you taking this opportunity?
Trying to
It's
further
just weird. It's just
distance,
weird, yeah.
distancing the Democrats from the leftists, as if
But they were right, Pete.
you referenced something, Cody, important, which is Trump and the Hitler stuff, the fascists.
Not new.
Not new. That's words out of my mouth. One of the first things with this news story that Jonathan's about to set up. Not new. This isn't a surprise.
Right. We knew Trump liked Hitler and was a fascist, and we knew his former chief of staff, retired Marine Corps General John Kelly, did not like him, previously called him the most flawed person he'd ever met. But there was new reporting this week because John Kelly saw Trump give his enemy from within, going to send the military after certain Democrats comment, and decided, as opposed to the typical, the military, I stay out of this thing, I'm going to go on the record with The Atlantic, with the New York Times, and say what I think. So John Kelly tells this anecdote to The Atlantic about how Trump is frustrated that people aren't doing whatever he says as president. And he says, I wish I had some German generals. And John Kelly's like, well, you mean like Bismarck's, like, the Kaiser's generals? And Trump says, no, not like that. And then John Kelly says, you mean like Hitler's generals? And he goes, yeah, like Hitler's generals. And then John Kelly says, a lot of Hitler's generals tried to kill him multiple times. And Trump says, no, they did what he wanted. And then Hitler did some good things. So
he's so good at history. He's like, yeah, no, not that. I want the ones that listen. To just
noted
follow
animal
through
rights
orders.
advocate Adolf Hitler.
I'm sure that's what Trump was talking about, the vegetarianism. There's another anecdote from this Atlantic article that is truly disgusting, and it's not from John Kelly. In 2020, there's a soldier at Fort Hood who dies named Vanessa Guillen, and she's murdered by another soldier who had been harassing her. And Trump met with Guillen's parents. He expresses sympathy, and he says he'd happily pay for the funeral. And ultimately, months later, when the White House gets a bill from the family's lawyer months later for $60,000, he gets enraged. He turns to his chief of staff, Mark Meadows, according to witnesses, and says, quote, "It doesn't cost $60,000 to bury a fucking Mexican. Don't pay it." And then later in the day, he's still upset. He says, "Can you believe it? Fucking people trying to rip me off." Not that it would have mattered, but Guillen was born in Houston. She was Mexican-American. She was the daughter of Mexican immigrants. She would have turned 25 a few weeks ago. And the family never got any money from Trump, despite him saying he would pay for the funeral. This is the kind of guy which, like, I don't know.
I know.
We've talked about it a lot. There was this whole thing yesterday of like, oh, some bombshell is going to come out that's going to end the Trump campaign. Okay. Like,
they like it. They like it. He's a cruel monster, and they like it. Whether it's because he's going after the people they don't like or not, it doesn't matter.
I think that this maybe doesn't specifically break through to necessarily everybody, even though it should. But what this reminds me of, a lot of the conversations you have with people that do support the man is, oh, he's outside of the system. He is malleable in a way. He wants to be popular. He says the thing in the moment. He'll say the thing in the moment that appeals to the crowd. And you can't really pin whether or not he's going to do it or not. He's wormy. He's sliming. He slips around. But, Kim Kardashian got him to, talk about black men in prison that shouldn't be there, and his ego likes it when he says something that people like. So in the moment, this is a perfect example of how he might say something that's generous in the moment. And in the moment, maybe he meant it because it makes him feel good that people are like, but then when push comes to shove, so that's why that argument doesn't work for me, actually, because he'll say anything in the moment to make himself look good. He doesn't have any morals.
Yeah, he's cruel and vindictive. He's a monstrous rapist and terrible person. It's really horrific, this story. I'm surprised we haven't. There's so much focus on all these different things that are being reported. But if you look on, for example, x.com.
Don't call it that.
The website?
Yeah, the website. I'm so sorry. Twitter.com, the everything app.
Thank you.
You just see so many people just sort of openly embracing this kind of thing more and more. I would like 3/4 of the website is just like, yeah, it's awesome. I love that he's cruel. I love that he likes Hitler. There's this tweet from Ben Shapiro. I'm so sorry. That I think is kind of fascinating. I'm not gonna read the whole thing because it's very long-winded, and it's too long. You need to be a better writer, Ben. But he starts it with, you want to know why nobody cares about the left-wing media's latest oppo dump? The answer is obvious. People care about the quality of their lives, and life is getting worse under democratic governance. Then he tells this story about being out in LA and being attacked and crime in LA. And then he ends it with, this is why people increasingly don't give a shit about the media's latest horror story about Trump saying bad things, TM. I just find it interesting that he didn't say, you want to know why nobody believes the left-wing media reports. He's saying nobody cares about the left-wing media's latest oppo dump. Ostensibly, he's saying we don't care that Trump likes Hitler and wants to do all these awful things because we want law and order. We want crime to go down, even though crime is not like skyrocketing as he claims. His tweet, like if you boil it down, he's just saying like, yeah, we want a Hitler. We want our stupid Hitler to come in and solve these problems. And it's just, I can believe we've gotten to that point, but it's not good. And he's not literally saying it, but he is more or less saying it because he didn't say, here's why nobody believes it. He's saying nobody cares. Nobody cares that Trump wants Hitler's generals. Nobody cares that he's this vindictive, cruel man. I also wouldn't
take Ben Shapiro's opinion. I think some people do care. They might care more about the things that they mistakenly believe that Donald Trump will fix for them.
But even the things that Donald Trump will fix for them are kick out everybody, mass deportations now, and crime lower. They want Hitler. Like, that is what is going on right now. The problems that they want solved by Trump are that as well.
Certainly some people do want a dictator type. I've seen that argument more than I care to over the last 4 years of how we just actually need someone who will take control, big dad figure.
Like Tucker said.
I have to read this. You're right. I'm sorry. I have to. Like Tucker said, here's this. What a freak.
Oh, yeah. Oh, it's so gross. I was like, what? Oh, yeah.
What a freak.
It's like you're trying to make me throw up.
Like everybody just cover your ears. Don't listen to this. But Tucker yesterday, of course, is some turning point fucking event.
But he's very disappointed in their behavior. And he's going to have to let them know. He's going to have to get to your room right now and think about what you did. And when Dad gets home, you know what he says? You've been a bad girl. You've been a bad little girl, and you're getting a vigorous spanking right now. And no, it's not gonna hurt me more than it hurts you. No, it's not. I'm not gonna lie. This is gonna hurt you a lot more than it hurts me. And you earned this. You're getting a vigorous spanking because you've been a bad girl.
You can uncover your ears, everybody. I just have to point out, the phrase is, this is going to hurt me a lot more than it hurts you. But he said it's going to hurt you a lot more than it hurts me. I think that's a little weird.
Well, it's telling, isn't it?
I think that's quite telling that he changed the common phrase to be that. Oh, what a freak. But that's what they want.
How's the right responding? Well, we've given it a little bit of attention already with Ben Shapiro. What are some of the other talking points that people are using to address this?
Yeah, I tracked down 3 categories of thing. One is that John Kelly is a liar and it's a deep state scam since the elites, because he'll be taken down in the Epstein ring, because who's met with Epstein? Not the guy, John Kelly. 2 is that John Kelly's telling the truth, but he's exaggerating it because of politics, and Trump didn't mean it like that. That's another Ben Shapiro
this is 100%.
tweet. Does anyone really think that Trump would do the things he says he wants to do?
This is the cornerstone of all of their arguments. This is it. Like, he said the thing, but it's not what he meant. And come on, he's not going to actually do it.
Isn't
we survived
that
the last
bad
one
too? If he doesn't really think it or want it, isn't it still bad that he says that? Do we really want I want Hitler's generals guy in there, even if he doesn't mean it? Whatever.
And
he
the
just says
third,
whatever, and we like that about him. Stupid.
And the third is, of course, that he did mean it that way, and that's good. And the racism and fascism is good.
And that's
my favorite response was from Brian Kilmeade on Fox and Friends yesterday. And I'd love to play this brief clip.
When you factor in the fact that he runs his own company, coming from the business world, the first one we've ever had, it's not even a public company. And then he obviously has frustration. And I could absolutely see him go, now, you know what? It would be great to have German generals that actually do what we asked them to do, knowing that's a third, maybe not fully being cognizant of the third rail of German generals who were Nazis and whatever.
So
he didn't know?
Or Nazis or whatever.
So I believe what he's saying is, like, he didn't know that you don't talk about liking Nazis in American politics because he's such an outsider, you see.
You should. That should be, and I would argue it is, common sense.
There's another way to say that you want generals who will do what you say.
You say, I want generals who will do what you say. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. It was very easy for me to not bring up Nazi generals to express that I wanted people to listen to me.
Well, that's because you're a woke liberal cuck.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Have you bothered
God damn it.
accepting that? You should accept that, Cody, about yourself.
Okay.
I try to measure my knee-jerk reactions. I try to, stay calm about
to
things.
center yourself, exactly.
And to be aware of the danger of this and why we fight against it, but try not to. That's what I'm trying this go around anyway. But it is terrifying when someone like even John Kelly is saying these things, and then we're watching in real time people jump through hoops to justify and rationalize it. And we know that this is how it happens.
This isn't 2016. This isn't 2020. This is 2024. It's so... They're just all so craven and like stupid. There's so many tweets from like everyone at the Daily Wire in 2016. Like, wow, Trump is awful. What a bad person. What a bad human being. There's this old Matt Walsh tweet about how Trump fans would vote for Hitler. You're right, Matt.
Good point.
You would vote for Hitler, Matt. All these people knew and know. Obviously, J.D. Vance famously and correctly identified Trump as America's Hitler in so many words. And it's just very, very upsetting to see all of those people just like, but also we kind of like it now. We're okay with it. We're on board. Well, in that poll from the other day about how America's pretty split on putting immigrants in camps.
Yeah, that was bad.
That's pretty upsetting too.
I mean, I have
not
to
surprising,
say,
but it lines up with all this.
This is against the backdrop of an American-sanctioned genocide too happening.
Mm-hmm.
Gosh, it's fucking depressing. Jonathan, what happened with this bombshell? Do we have any October surprise news from Donald Trump? What is happening?
No, and if we did, it wouldn't matter.
No, it wouldn't.
Some right-wingy figures have been pitched some story. Mark Halperin, who's with Newsmax now, said, I've been pitched a story about Donald Trump now for about a week that, if true, would end his campaign.
No, it wouldn't. There's no such thing that exists.
Right. But then yesterday, Jack Posobiec, Charlie Kirk, and Glenn Beck all tweeted things suggesting, like, don't believe any video you see. They're about to deep fake Trump or whatever. Don't buy it, which made everyone think, oh, is there a thing? Why would you freaks be afraid of this? And then some people who would have no idea about anything. This guy Chili Dog on Twitter and a YouTuber named Keith Edwards were like, we've heard the rumor is that Donald Trump groped the teenage daughter of a donor at one of his fundraising dinners, and it's caught on video. There is no evidence that that's true. 100% believable. He's a
believable.
Serial groper and rapist and sexual harasser and assaulter of women. And it may be just reflecting a Guardian story from yesterday where a model named Stacey Williams says she was introduced to Donald Trump by Jeffrey Epstein in late 1992. And a few months later, Epstein took her to Trump's penthouse at Trump Tower, where he immediately began groping her. And then Epstein and Trump kind of smiled at each other because it was like a game that they were playing together. But again, of course it's worth talking about because the man is a disgusting, awful human being, but okay.
It's
like
nobody cares. They don't
he's
care.
He's so untouchable. They didn't care in 2016. They don't care in 2020. They didn't care when E. Jean Carroll case was going on. They don't care now. Which makes me wonder if this actually is the October surprise that they're worried about or not. It probably is, but we know that won't move the needle. Perhaps I just don't understand. I don't understand how people that, a lot of right wingers want to protect their women, see a man's role as being like, okay, well then if your woman was in a room with Donald Trump, I guarantee you wouldn't trust that motherfucker.
Yeah.
I guarantee you if your daughter was in a room with that man, you would keep her the fuck away from him. So why do you want him leading your country? For gas prices? It's sickening to me. There are a million sickening things that you can list as to why to not vote for this man. And the jumping through hoops of, well, this is all politicized at this point. They're coming forward because, the Democrats are paying them or what have you, is just so, that is craven to me.
Yeah.
That is, it's really hard for me to reconcile that. But yeah, this wouldn't make a damn bit of difference. So much of our rants feel like rehashing the same thing because we're like in Groundhog Day for the last 8-10 years.
Yeah, we're going mad.
Let's pivot from our least favorite person to talk about to our other least favorite person to talk about.
Oh, God. Jesse Waters.
Oh,
yay.
What did
he
he
just
do?
throw up in your mouth?
He didn't do anything. I'm just curious. So, like, Kat, you're pretty, like, in that world of all these freaks. The Fox and Friends. I don't know if you're familiar with Scott Jennings. He's not on Fox. He's on CNN now. That guy blows my mind. As somebody who's on television now, he's the biggest liar in the world. It's so weird that they still have him on. I'm blown away by
that's
every
high
single
praise
clip.
from Cody.
It's impressive.
It's incredible. I was just sort of like, we've talked about like Brian Kilmeade, and this weird, like, it's actually so cool that Trump said this Hitler thing. In your opinion, like, who's the worst? I'm just like, as somebody like who's like stuck in
or
there,
just like me hate them.
I think both, one then the other.
Impact. I mean, no one matches up with Tucker and no one matches up with O'Reilly. But current cast, I mean, I guess Waters because he has the 8 p.m. time slot and that's where the real magic happens. In terms of O'Reilly was the number one, like, had so much more cultural cachet than Tucker. People in liberal households were turning him on, and Tucker was the most popular cable news host in the country. It's the 8 p.m. time slot, and Tucker's doing podcasts and shit like that, but he's not holding the GOP House speakership hostage anymore. He doesn't have the capability to have his demands met on national television, and that means something. Jesse doesn't know how to use the time slot, but it's still the most powerful time slot on cable news.
Right. So that's sort of what I was getting at, where it's like he's definitely got the spot and he has like the ability to harness it, but he seems so stupid.
He's so
and, like,
stupid.
not good at it. Right.
He will tell, like, okay, so the example I always use is, are y'all familiar with the 80,000 IRS agents conspiracy theory?
Okay, so what? Fill us in for our listeners. But
there was a conspiracy theory that Biden was hiring 80,000, like an army of 80,000 IRS agents to essentially audit you at gunpoint, which is like a conservative's worst nightmare. What was really happening is that there was more funding for the IRS further to hire like 80,000 people over like 30 years, like a very long timetable, which is necessary because so many tax fraud schemes, especially by really rich people, aren't investigated because the IRS is critically understaffed. But instead, what Tucker did was he had Matt Gaetz come on, I believe, a Thursday night and talk about this very scary thing that was definitely going to happen. And then he mentioned it again on Friday and then did like a smaller block on it on the Monday after that. And then by Wednesday had a full ass like A or B block about this story and then continually brought it up. So he knew, and I could always, like, people on my shift especially, you get a sense for when he's trying to build something up, or when someone's trying to cement a new phrase or whatever. And you could tell that he had thought this out, timing and who to bring in and how to do it. And then Jesse, in contrast, will just say the most insane conspiracy theory you've ever heard that, if it was true, would be the biggest story of the century. And then just never brings it up again. Ever. You never hear about it again. Like at one point, he was talking about how Biden was trying to stop us from mining the Grand Canyon so that way we could, I want to say, give nukes to Kazakhstan.
Sure, makes
Which
sense.
is insane. And then he never mentioned it again. Just never mentioned it again.
They can say whatever they want.
But in terms of hosts that I dislike the most, definitely Greg Gutfeld. Like his comedy is just
That
poorly
makes sense,
written.
yeah.
My high school
it's
stand-up
deeply
is so
embarrassing.
much more, has so much work put into it than anything Greg Gutfeld has done on national television for a whole hour.
Can we talk about Elon Musk definitely doing illegal election
Let's do it.
violations?
Yeah.
Oh, good. Okay.
Okay.
Jonathan,
Yeah,
your
well,
magic. Be the glue.
Elon Musk's America PAC, which is just Elon Musk's money, helping Trump, and they are colluding, but not. It's like, even by Citizens United standards, it's illegal. Anyway, he's got this scheme where they're offering $1 million prize each day to people in swing states who sign a petition supporting First and Second Amendment rights. However, you have to be a registered voter to be eligible for the prize. So he's basically just paying people or bribing them with a prize to register to vote. And you know what side they'll be on because the petition is about supporting First and Second Amendment rights. The Justice Department, by the way, contacted America PAC yesterday to say this probably violates federal election laws. They woke Merrick Garland up for 20 seconds to send a letter, and then he went right back to sleep. So what do we think? Will he stop doing this?
bad.
Will something
No,
I think
happen?
he's going to keep doing it and get away with it.
And if he's like, oh, find me. Great.
And then he'll
Give
do
me a
something
fine.
more blatant down the line and get away with that
It's
too.
enraging.
Yeah.
I already said this to the boys, I think. I did. Kat, I recently moved to the mountains. I live in a conservative town. It's changing. But it will, there's lots of people, leftists moving up here. I would maybe call it purplish, but it'll go for Trump, this county.
Where, in California?
In California. The state will go for Kamala, but this county has historically been conservative. It is changing. There are lots of Harris wall signs. Lots of people here voted. Bernie won the primary here. The Democratic primary, for example, of the flavor of what we're talking about here. But I do have friends of all persuasions up here, and I have gotten into lots of arguments. And there was a few people in the local bar that were bitching about Taylor Swift endorsing Kamala. And then I see this fucking shit, and you're like, come on. This is so much worse.
I just want to say, what would you think?
He bought the website to do that.
What would you think if Taylor Swift did the same thing? And if your answer is lose your fucking mind,
right,
then
Maybe.
yes. And I have already made that point, and it has already been accepted and conceded.
Good.
I get why you're mad. You get why. Okay, well, that's as far as I get. I get why you're mad was the response I got.
That's nothing.
That's better than it could have been, but
absurd. Celebrities have endorsed presidential candidates since, I guess, the beginning of time, probably. What an absurd complaint about Taylor Swift specifically. He bought the website so he could do this. It's absurd. God, he sucks so bad.
So the exact same guys who yelled at me in the Red Rising subreddit when I was like, wow, there are a lot of really well-written women characters in this book and this series, and it's really hard to find when white men write sci-fi.
Oh,
you usually have really, women are just not characterized, especially like people of color and queer people. And I think there's really great representation, and that's badass. And it's something that especially like straight white men, especially can sympathize with, but they can't really empathize to the lived experience. People lost their fucking minds at me, and so
really,
exactly. Oh
I
my
forgot
god,
about
they
Red
were
Rising, and I also enjoyed that.
The tetralogy, the current, the one that takes place 10 years after, it's fucking insane. I can't wait for Red God. I finished reading it this summer and I haven't stopped thinking about it. And so I posted that and everyone lost their mind. They were so fucking mad at me. And it's the exact same type of guys that would be like, I get why you're mad, except
Yeah, no,
they just say that to your face.
would
But if it's
not-
online, it's you're trying to do a checklist to say that women. Someone was like, I don't like any book written by women except ones by J.K. Rowling. That was an actual quote I got.
Wait, yes, you're completely. We have been chatting for not very long. I've given you one anecdote, and you have accurately pinpointed this person. I would
I'm just
not
that
be
good.
surprised if this person was the one that yelled at you.
I accept
Anyway.
that you're angry. Great. Well, speaking of sci-fi, what Blade Runner would drive?
What else we got? So he has been already giving out prizes.
And he's maybe been separately getting scammed by people in Arizona and Nevada because he's paying people to knock on doors who are not doing that.
Wait, so the scammer who does scams and attracts scammers is being scammed by the scammers that he's trying to scam?
It's a mammoth play, basically.
Oh, no. Elon.
It's a turducken.
Oh, God.
Yeah, it's a turducken of fraudulent
A
activity.
grip-ducken.
Cody, I believe what you're referring to is Musk getting sued by the producers of Blade Runner 2049 because he wanted to use a still from the film at his robotaxi announcement, and then they said no, and so then he made some AI slop that looks just like it, and then the
Just
production
like it.
company
Looks like shit. Looks like shit.
We'll show
I'm
both
sure
on
we'll
screen.
put them on the screen
Show 'em.
somewhere around here.
Here's the beautiful and well-crafted film Blade Runner 2049. And here's what Elon posted. It looks like shit. Yeah, it's just funny. He does this all the time. He has no respect for any art ever, or creativity at all, or people's hard work. He asked and then he did it anyway. Why would you want to promote your transportation service by alluding to Blade Runner, the dystopia? Nobody wants to live in Blade Runner.
Also applies to Red Rising when everyone is like, I love a fashion character. Sorry, I'm really annoyed by my notifications on Reddit right now. And I don't care if anyone listening to this knows what my account is. I literally have my bio saying, congratulations, you found my Reddit account. It's just my cat and sewing.
I was going to say you're playing a dangerous game by bringing up your Reddit posts, but
I literally
You're-
made this I deleted my old Reddit account and I was like, I just want to post pictures of my cat, but people will recognize my cat. So fuck it, we're just going public.
go for it. All right.
Anyways,
Lean
no,
in,
these
babe.
people miss the point of everything. It's the most annoying thing about conservatives in the world. I'm not very good at complaining just about there's a certain point where I have fatigue of my own complaints, but this is one I will never get tired of. You guys I was just on a panel about media literacy, and it's not just about journalism. It's like you guys can't watch anything fictional and get the point, and it's so fucking pathetic. Okay, thank you.
It's infuriating. I mean, the other day, somebody posted the Jessup monologue from A Few Good Men is like, this is why this guy rules.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
Not to bring it back to this Reddit thread, but someone was literally like, why are you being political about this book that is about a fascist space
my God.
state where race has been eliminated so that way you can do eugenics to create a very segmented class system? Sorry, just fucking read a book critically one
That's a
time.
Really good, quick distillation of it.
I do want to point out
Did.
that
Yeah, good job.
Musk wanted to use an image from this, and then they said no, and then he did it anyway, and then they sued him, and then when someone brought it up, he tweeted, that movie sucked.
I always try to use movies that suck to promote my own stuff. I go, I fucking hate this movie. That's why I want to put my product in that movie, because I hate it and it sucks. And I want to show how much cooler my super cool, super sexy truck that definitely isn't a piece of shit.
I thought that was just a response that he gave. but
It is.
I
It's
didn't
a
realize he
reply
tweeted
to
it.
someone. Yeah.
God, what a loser. I don't think he thinks that. I'm going to posit maybe he actually didn't
No, he
see
doesn't.
the movie.
His
He probably
feelings-
hasn't seen it, but wanted the aesthetic anyway because he's stupid.
Has
but
anyone told
Or
him
he's-
that The Matrix is a trans allegory yet? Has anyone told him that yet?
I don't
haven't.
think he. I don't think he would accept that.
I
don't
think
he'd
he
be
has
able to hear
selective
that.
hearing. I think
Okay.
he saw the movie. That's why he wanted to do it. But then he decided he hated the movie when they said no.
It's
think
possible.
It's
I think it's also possible
but
that he knows that it's like accept it as, it's like he's like, oh yeah, we got to do like Dune 2, right? Everybody loves Dune, but he doesn't engage in culture. He doesn't do that kind of thing. But maybe he has seen it. Maybe he liked it. Maybe he's pretending he doesn't like it now.
I don't understand anyone that can watch a piece of media or read a piece of media and not tear it apart with their teeth afterwards. Like that's my biggest thing is going to the movies with someone. I know this is unrelated to like everything except just talking about how bad these people are at media criticism. But if I go to the movies with someone and then we finish the movie and they're like, yeah, that was good. And they don't want to like talk about every character's point of view and the performance of every single line, or like we read the same book and they're like, oh, this fucking quote shook me. Let's talk about how hot this character is. I don't understand.
I don't get it.
I don't either. I agree with you.
Why are you there? Why are you in the chair?
Why are you there
like,
if you're not dissecting every single thing that you comprehend?
And are we even really friends?
Are we even really friends? This is true.
Well, like,
and there's also
shout
this
out to my
like
friend Sunny, who will always read things just to do that with me.
At a certain
you,
point,
Sunny.
you're supposed
Let's start a book club, maybe the three of us.
Yes.
Oh,
they would love that.
We're not invited. I can't. No, it's fair. That's,
I don't know.
That's okay.
I
that
mean,
makes
everyone
sense.
here is
Are you
invited
gonna
as
read the
long as
book?
you tear it apart with your teeth.
There's this like expectation that like frat boys in college will have like severe misinterpretations of things like Fight Club, Clockwork Orange. There's like a Mount Rushmore of misunderstood. Like
1984, Fahrenheit 451.
Yeah, and all that stuff. But then when you're supposedly a genius, you're supposed to be able to deal with any amount of nuance whatsoever. So like, I get that it's like, I also think it's a little just like cliche to be like Blade Runner is the pinnacle of sci-fi. Like Blade Runner's fine. I'm not like shitting on Blade Runner, but like
the original Blade Runner is.
I don't think it's like, and I think Blade Runner 2049 is fantastic, but like original Blade Runner, I get it. But like, right, there's this thing about like the tech bros love Blade Runner because they just think it's like super cool. And I'm sure they say tears in the rain, like out of context in a way that doesn't reflect what they did in the movie all the time.
Yeah, it's
all
that
right,
it's that email strong tweet about how like I bet you think RoboCop is political. They just don't. Like they think like, no, it's cool. It's a robot and a cop. It's awesome.
That guy
I love
has to
robot
be a
cops.
bit, right?
Can everyone just go to my thread and defend me in this? I'm just saying, absolutely.
What is this thing called?
Thank you.
Red Rising.
It's in the Red Rising subreddit. It's if you sort by controversial of the day, I guarantee you'll find it.
That's what you were doing right before this.
I am coming for this thread.
Oh, it's the top thing. As a woman, I'm always amazed.
Yep, there we go.
The top thing.
Top one.
Top one.
Wow.
Yes, let's go.
I don't want to spoil this
You're
for myself, so
rushing it.
maybe I won't read it.
Yeah. I'm not preventing my username to like hide anything. Just I want to use this platform.
You're about
for
to
good.
have a bunch of people come in to your help, especially
Of
Get
nice,
out there,
supportive
folks.
people, yeah.
Don't
Yeah, you'll have
disappoint me. Even more news listeners and viewers, you got to go help our girl
man.
out.
There are some really nice
Red
people too.
Rising top post.
About one more tomfoolery person, Timfoolery.
Yes. Timfoolery.
Yeah. let's do
Timfoolery.
it. This bizarre thing.
Pour one out for Tim, who's quitting the show.
Yeah,
But
I don't.
no?
But yeah,
I'm
I
just
He's
so
like Alex
confused by this.
Jones, always standing up and being like,
Yeah.
I'm done with the show. I'm never going to do this again.
I
Monday
almost
rolls
don't want to
around.
like go through it that much because I
Like the
might get
Beanie
it
on.
wrong. So please like let me know if I'm getting this wrong. He announced on his show that he's stepping back from full-time content production, and he said a couple times maybe this is the last Timcast IRL, which is the name of one of his
Maybe.
shows.
Maybe.
But then he said that him and his girlfriend are getting married and they're having a baby. So like,
Wait, did he?
yeah,
In the video?
not that clip that the Surfs shared, but in that segment, he
She
was like,
is
we're having a baby.
COO of Timcast.
Allison
Wow,
Neubauer, right?
nepotism.
Okay. Oh, okay. So that's been like a missing piece to all of this because he's been talking about it super weirdly.
Well, right, because the bit is like I don't have a family yet, and I'm having like that's why it's
Oh, I
a
mean,
bit.
you wanna
that
take her-
makes sense.
That's a completely reasonable reason to like step away from your show. Like, yeah.
But then he said his employees are lazy. Sorry.
Oh yeah.
Wait, okay.
That he's
Hire
a lot
different
of
employees
that.
if you got a problem
Wash
with
your
employees.
beanie
Like,
once.
He's like, I can't start up my coffee shop. I don't have time to do all the things because I'm working so much. Also, can you just work a little less? Like, I mean, quit the
No.
show by all means. Make it the
Yeah.
last Timcast. I don't know,
Yeah.
but you could just do less.
Yeah.
Also, like, people will be there for you if you like took a essentially paternity leave. I was thinking about Glenn Greenwald, whose husband was dying, and there was like daily streams, and it was just like, I don't know if it was like a financial pressure thing or something like that, but I don't like him, but I almost want to be like, man, you can stop.
Yeah, take some time. Yeah.
Maybe
you make
that's
a shit ton
it.
of money on Substack. You
Maybe
can just
there's this
depend
stigma.
on those automatic.
Well,
yeah, but
he
even
doesn't
then,
want to take paternity leave because they're against it.
Right. So he's like, I have to quit the show. I can't take paternity leave. Everyone will make fun of me.
so I just had to quit. Got to cut off my
Right.
leg instead of.
We should maybe do his model where we just do no scripted show, tons of podcasts, and be conservative so we can make make a
We
lot
can
of
give
money.
it a
and then
shot.
just
That
like
seems to be the way
then we
to
just
do
like
it.
read an article in real time and then react in real time before knowing what the article says.
I love looking
That's-
things up,
Honestly.
being like, we should look that up.
We should
look that up.
Let's look that up right now.
Look 'em
That's the other thing about this whole like work so hard. Do you, man? You read articles
know.
live. Like I know I'm not like I don't want to be like you don't do anything. I'm sure he works to a degree. He doesn't work 16 hours a day. I'm just going to say it. I don't think he works 16 hours a day like he claimed. But half of his shows are literally him just reading an article that he hadn't read yet and reacting in real time to it.
And he doesn't
So
even
I
put
don't-
on makeup. Like, that's a whole thing if you're a woman doing this stuff. you
We
know?
don't need to if you have a beanie. That does all
That's
the work.
true. That's true.
I'm a little
Yeah.
self-conscious. Maybe I
You
should
could
get
just.
one of those.
I mean, I'm not trying to defend him. I can imagine that there's more work involved than we would expect when you're on camera every day.
Katie, it sounds
doing
like you have a
this.
crush on Tim Pool.
I just love Beanie.
I want to lick his head.
Bring me winter and all the men in beanies.
He's a
And
beanie baby.
now the Beanie Baby is on the way.
Oh,
My
look, we got there.
I put a kiddie pool is on the way in the notes, and no one's been saying it. And
Didn't even-
it just
Oh,
Either or.
I
it's
get
fine.
it
major
now.
dud.
no, Beanie Baby.
I get it, but Beanie,
Beanie
Baby
Baby's
is
better. Fuck it.
Beanie
so
Baby's
good.
really good.
Kiddie
Sorry.
Pool is
I
also
threw this
good.
in the notes.
Good. It's good.
No,
All right.
No, I'm just
Jonathan,
leading it from the
unstrike
notes.
it. He struck it, you guys. Everybody
That's
come
so
to
sad.
tell Jonathan how much you loved his joke about Kiddie Pool.
I thought it was good.
You
I
know,
thought it was good
it's always
too.
better
See?
to deliver a joke like a joke instead of, but I know that thing that he said was funny, but mine was this.
In my document, actually.
In-
Actually,
I wrote it
exactly.
yesterday.
If you go back to
We're-
my scroll,
Fuck it. I'm just
We're
going to
getting
put
more
Red
mileage
we're at
Rising.
the
out of
edges
this
like
joke.
a history project in fifth grade, and you put tea bags
put
on
it in
it.
the oven.
It's a-
Do you think
Yeah,
people,
yeah,
if I took all of my docs for all of these shows that we've done and put them in like a book, and that's the Some More News, the Even More News book, people will buy that.
Yeah.
Just
People, would
endless
you buy that?
nonsense
I wouldn't.
pages of news stories from 3 years ago that no
She
one cares
keeps it
about.
real.
No, it's not a
She
good
keeps it real.
holidays. It's a book of
I
holidays.
don't know if I would either.
No, it's no good.
Katie will buy
You
it.
guys. Well, I have a tendency
Somebody.
to buy stuff to be supportive.
Yeah,
You know,
I would love if Katie bought it,
I will buy it.
I think that would be
Jonathan.
really, really cool if Katie
and you could
bought
just put
it.
our name on it too, like a Christmas gift when you're the eldest sister.
Well, everyone go
Okay,
buy
yeah.
Red Rising, and we'll meet back here after the election for a book club.
for a book
Amazing.
club.
The first book
I'm-
is like more like a prequel for the rest. You can tell
Yeah.
that he wrote it in 2014 because he was trying to like get that publishing deal as a way to make an insane space opera, and it totally pays off. It's so fucking good.
well, yes, we've done it. All right,
I think we've done it.
we've arrived at the end of the show.
Congratulations to everybody.
Kat, you're so fun.
Yay!
Would love to have you on the show all the time and in book club. But I
Yes,
won't
please.
push
I
it.
would love
won't
to do
be
a book
pushy.
club.
Can you please tell our listeners, our viewers, where to find you? Promote anything you want. Promote it, all the things.
Yay! I just did a 1-hour explainer about white Christian nationalism, which is scary and bad, with the People for the American Way Foundation. So you can find that on my YouTube, which is Kat M. Abu. I am posting it in various installments on Instagram and TikTok. My TikTok is also Kat M. Abu. I have different usernames, and my last name is really long. So just go on my link tree, and you will find all my other links. Additionally, if you want to financially support my work, I have a Patreon for my cat. It is the Heater fan club because my cat is named Heater. It is $1 a month unless you want to and can afford more. You can edit that, but $1 a month and you get a free cat picture or video every single day. And she's really, really cute, and she's orange, and she's stripy, and she's very sweet.
I love this setup. That's great.
I didn't have any time to make subscribers only content, but I was like, people keep asking me, and I feel uncomfortable giving my Venmo with nothing in
Yeah.
return. So
Good heater
here's a
there.
picture of my cat.
There you go.
I
Yeah,
mean,
just really cute.
that's great.
Great.
Yeah.
I'm not going to steal that idea,
cat
but
name,
my
too.
wheels are spinning. This is great.
Yeah, absolutely. Encourage everyone to do this. I'll pay $1 for cat pics.
Absolutely. People want to see
Curated.
that cute dog, Benny. Well, you got to
Yeah.
fork it over.
And we got a
I'm gonna
little
stop
community
giving it away
chat
for
so
free.
you can drop pictures of your pets in there. So we have like a nice little community, and no one talks about politics or anything. It's just like
Kat,
everyone
this is
understands the
lovely.
That's a
assignment.
big plus.
It's
I'm
lovely.
going to
It's
go
awesome.
subscribe. I didn't know about this. I love it.
Yeah.
And you guys, you know where to find us. But,
true.
you know, like,
Where can we find
subscribe.
you?
Here.
Yay!
Patreon.com/somewherenews.
There they are.
Yeah.
YouTube.com.
YouTube.com. You know, if you're watching this video, engagement on the video helps us because
Like and
the video
subscribe.
podcast is
Comment.
new for us. But it does help. And you know what, you guys? I say this every week.
You mean
and
it
I
every
fucking
week.
mean it.
That's right.
We love you very much.
Much.